You believe your body is breaking down because of bad luck. You believe healing only comes from outside of you, from a pill, a doctor, a diagnosis. You believe your cells are deaf, mechanical, indifferent to anything you think or feel. But you are wrong. You are wrong about all of it. The truth is far stranger and far more powerful. Your body is listening. Your body is responding. Your body is rebuilding itself right now around the words you keep repeating to it in the dark. There is a silent force at work inside you every single second. A force older than medicine and deeper than willpower, and almost no one is taught how to use it. I call it the inner voice frequency. It is the tone, the words, the emotion you broadcast inward, and your flesh organizes itself around that signal, whether you are aware of it or not. Your body does not hear your complaints. Your body hears your convictions. You do not heal the life you describe. You heal the life you believe. And here is what happens to the person who never learns this. They take the medicine and still feel sick. They rest and wake up exhausted. They fix one symptom and 3 more appear because the voice underneath never changed and the body kept obeying the old command. They spend years treating the branches while the root keeps whispering decay. They sabotage their own recovery without ever knowing they were the one holding the wound open. So let me ask you something, and do not answer too quickly. When was the last time you spoke to your own body with kindness instead of war? Hold that question. We are going to come back to it. Most people, when they truly consider it, cannot remember a single time. They can remember 1,000 criticisms. They can remember standing in front of the mirror cataloging flaws, lying awake listing fears, muttering complaints about this ache and that weakness. But a moment of genuine kindness toward their own flesh? Silence. A blank where the memory should be. And if that is your answer too, do not feel guilty. Feel awakened, because it means there is an entire dimension of healing you have never even attempted, a door you have never once tried to open. And it has been within your reach the whole time. Imagine what becomes possible when you finally open it. Let us begin with the most overlooked truth in all of Scripture and in all of human psychology at the same time. The truth that what you say shapes what you become. There is a verse in Proverbs that most people read and forget within seconds, and yet it carries the entire key to healing inside it. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Stop and feel the weight of that. Not death or life somewhere out there. Death and life held in the power of the words you speak. The ancient writers were not being poetic. They were describing a law as real as gravity, a law that science is only now beginning to confirm in laboratories with brain scans and blood tests. Every word you speak to yourself is an instruction. Your body is not a passive machine waiting to fail. Your body is a living congregation of trillions of cells, and those cells are constantly listening for the next command. When you say, "I am sick," something inside you straightens up and prepares to be sick. When you say, "I am healing," something inside you turns toward repair. You have been giving commands your whole life. The only question is whether you knew what you were commanding. Think for a moment about how unconscious this has been. You did not sit down one day and decide to speak decay over your own flesh. It happened slowly. A sentence here, a complaint there, until the complaints became a habit and the habit became a hum, a constant low frequency running underneath everything you do. You stopped hearing it the way a person stops hearing the refrigerator that never turns off. But your cells never stopped hearing it. They cannot tune it out. They have no defense against the voice that lives inside the very mind that commands them. Whatever you say, they receive, with the loyalty of a soldier who has never once questioned an order. And this is the part that should both frighten you and free you. Frighten you, because it means you may have spent decades quietly instructing your body to suffer. Free you, because it means the instrument of your healing has been in your own mouth the entire time. You do not have to wait for permission. You do not have to wait for the right circumstances. The single most powerful healing tool you will ever hold is the way you speak to yourself. And you have access to it this very second. I want you to understand something about how cells actually live, not in cold scientific language, but in the simple truth of it. Every cell in your body is replacing itself. The lining of your stomach renews in days. Your skin renews in weeks. Even your bones, the hardest part of you, are being broken down and rebuilt constantly. so that the skeleton you have now is not the skeleton you had years ago. You are, in a very real sense, being rebuilt all the time. The question is, rebuilt according to what blueprint? Because the cells that replace the old ones take their instructions from the environment you create inside, and that environment is shaped, more than by anything else, by the emotional tone of the voice you carry. You are not stuck with the body you have. You are constantly becoming a new one. The only question is whether you are building it in fear or building it in faith. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying the most successful people who ever lived, and he reached a conclusion that sounds almost spiritual. Napoleon said that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. He was not talking only about money. He was talking about a principle that governs everything a human being touches, including the body that carries the mind around. He understood that the subconscious does not argue with you. It does not check your statements against reality. It simply accepts what you feed it with feeling, and then it goes to work building a life that matches. So consider what you have been feeding it. Consider the quiet sentences you repeat when no one is watching. I always get sick this time of year. My back is just bad. My family has weak hearts, so I will too. These are not observations. These are prayers in disguise, and the body answers prayer with terrifying obedience. Close your eyes for a moment, even with the sound still playing, and notice the tone of the voice inside you. Is it gentle or is it cruel? Does it encourage or does it accuse? That voice has been narrating your health for years, and here is the thing almost no one realizes. You can change the narrator. You were never meant to be a prisoner of the voice you inherited. Where did that voice even come from? Sit with that question honestly, because most people never trace it back to its source. You were not born speaking to yourself with contempt. A newborn does not lie in the crib criticizing its own body. That voice was taught to you. It was assembled, word by word, year by year, from the way the people around you spoke, from the way they spoke about themselves, and the way they spoke about you. Somewhere along the way you took those voices in, and they fused together into a single inner narrator that you now mistake for yourself. But it is not you. It is a recording, and a recording can be replaced. This is one of the most liberating truths a human being can grasp. The harsh voice you hear in your head is not your identity. It is not the deepest truth about you. It is a habit of thought, learned and reinforced over time. And like any habit, it can be unlearned and replaced with something better. The cruelty you speak to yourself feels permanent, only because it is familiar. Familiarity is not the same as truth. You have simply heard the old voice so many times that it sounds like reality. The moment you begin deliberately to speak a kinder voice, you discover how thin the old one actually was, how little it was ever based on anything real. So I want you to hear this clearly. You are not the voice that criticizes you. You are the one who listens to it, and the one who listens has the power to change the channel. You are the awareness behind the voice, not the voice itself. And that awareness, that deeper you, is the one I'm speaking to right now. The one with the power to choose a new narrator for the rest of your life. There is a moment in the Gospels where a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years pushes through a crowd, and she is not saying out loud what she wants. She is saying it inside. She keeps repeating one sentence to herself: "If I just touch his garment, I will be made well." She had spent everything on physicians and only grown worse, but in that moment her inner voice stopped describing the disease and started declaring the healing. And Jesus turned and told her that her faith had made her well. Notice the wording, not the touch, the faith. The inner conviction she had rehearsed until it became more real than the 12 years of bleeding. This is the inner voice frequency in its purest form. She broadcast healing inward with such certainty that her body had no choice but to follow. And this is not reserved for one woman in one ancient story. This is the blueprint left for you. Look closely at what she did, because the details matter. For 12 long years she had lived inside a different sentence. For 12 years her inner voice had surely rehearsed her condition, repeated her diagnosis, told her every morning that this was her life now and nothing would change. She had spent everything she had on those who promised to fix her, and she had only grown worse. Which means her inner voice had every reason to surrender, every justification to give up entirely. And yet somewhere in her a different voice rose. A voice that dared to say one more thing, against all the evidence, against 12 years of disappointment. If I just touch his garment, I will be made well. That single sentence, spoken inwardly with enough conviction to push a weakened woman through a crowd, undid 12 years of decline. Think about the courage it took to speak it. Everything in her experience said it would not work. Every previous attempt had failed. The rational, realistic voice would have told her to stay home and accept her fate. But she chose the voice of faith over the voice of evidence, and in choosing it, she changed her body. This is the choice in front of you. Your evidence may tell you one thing. Your fear may have years of history on its side, but you can still choose, as she did, to speak a different sentence, and the body still responds to the voice that refuses to give up. And notice what was healed and what was not even mentioned. Jesus did not say your strength made you well, or your effort, or your years of seeking physicians. He said your faith made you well. The inner conviction, the voice she carried into that moment. It was never the fabric of the garment that healed her. It was the frequency she was broadcasting inward as her fingers reached out. The garment was simply the place she chose to put her faith. And you too must put your faith somewhere. You must choose each day where to place the certainty that heals, and you must guard that certainty against the 12 years of evidence that would talk you out of it. Now I want you to do something with me before we go any further, because reading about this changes nothing. Living it changes everything. Place one hand over your heart, just one hand, gently. And instead of listing what is wrong with your body, say something it has never heard from you. Say, "Thank you. Thank you for every breath you have taken without my permission. Thank you for every wound you have closed while I slept. Thank you for fighting for me even on the days I cursed you." Feel that hand rise and fall. That is your body still showing up for you, still loyal, still waiting to be spoken to like a friend instead of an enemy. If something just softened in your chest while you did that, I want you to write one word in the comments right now. Write the word listening, just that one word, because your body has been listening to you for your entire life, and today might be the first day it hears something kind. Let us go deeper, because there is a reason your words reach so far into your flesh. The connection between the mind and the body is not a metaphor. It is a physical bridge built from chemistry and electricity running between every thought and every cell. When you think a thought soaked in fear, your body floods with the chemistry of fear. Your muscles tighten. Your stomach knots. Your immune system pulls back like a soldier retreating. And when you hold that fear for years, the retreat becomes permanent. And the body that was built to heal forgets how. But the reverse is just as true. And this is where hope lives. When you think a thought soaked in peace, your body floods with the chemistry of peace. Your heart slows. Your breathing deepens. The repair systems that were frozen in fear come back online. Healing is not something you force. Healing is something you permit by changing the inner weather your cells live in. Think about what happens in a moment of sudden fear, a loud noise, a near accident, a frightening piece of news. Instantly, your whole body transforms. Your heart pounds, your palms sweat, your muscles brace. You did not decide any of this. A single thought, a single perception of threat, reached down into your body and rearranged your entire chemistry in less than a second. That is the speed at which your mind speaks to your flesh. Now understand that this same conversation is happening all day long, not just in moments of crisis, but in every quiet thought you think, every silent sentence you repeat. The body is always listening, always responding, always adjusting itself to match the inner story. This is why chronic worry is so destructive, and why almost no one takes it seriously enough. The body was designed to handle fear in short bursts, to spike and then return to calm. It was never designed to live in fear for years at a time. But that is exactly what a fearful inner voice creates. A low, constant alarm that never fully shuts off. And under that constant alarm, the systems that repair and restore your body are pushed aside because the body believes it is under attack, and there is no time for repair when you are running from a predator. The tragedy is that for most people there is no predator. The threat is entirely internal. It is a voice, and a body kept in alarm by its own voice slowly forgets how to heal. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine a body that hears, day after day, you are safe, you are held, you are healing. Imagine the alarm finally switching off. Imagine the repair systems, dormant for years, finally given the signal that it is safe to come back to work. This is not wishful thinking. This is the deepest design of the body, the design that says when peace returns, restoration follows. You cannot force your body to heal, but you can create the inner conditions in which healing becomes possible again. And the master switch for those conditions is the voice you speak to yourself. The scriptures said it long before any scientist measured it. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Read that again and let it land. A crushed spirit dries up the bones. The ancients were telling you that despair has a physical cost, that bitterness lives in the body, that the spirit and the bones are wired together, and medicine is good. A cheerful heart, a peaceful inner voice, is itself a kind of medicine you carry with you everywhere and never run out of. Napoleon Hill called the subconscious mind the most powerful tool a human being possesses, and he warned that it works day and night whether you direct it or not. Napoleon said that the subconscious will act upon any thought, good or bad, that is handed to it. It does not judge. It does not filter. It takes what you give it most often, with the most emotion, and it builds your reality around it, including the reality of your own health. If you have been handing it fear, it has been building fear into your body. The moment you start handing it faith, it begins, slowly and silently, to build something new. This is why two people can receive the same diagnosis and walk two completely different roads. One hears the diagnosis and accepts it as a sentence. The inner voice closes the door. The other hears the same words and treats them as information, not destiny. The inner voice keeps the door open. Same illness, same odds on paper. Different frequency broadcast inward, and over months and years, that difference becomes visible in the flesh. I have watched this truth play out in countless lives, and it never stops being remarkable. Two people, the same age, the same condition, the same treatment. One of them takes the words of the diagnosis and begins immediately to rehearse them. They repeat the prognosis to everyone they meet. They reorganize their entire identity around the illness. They become the sickness, and they speak it over themselves 100 times a day. And the body, faithful as always, moves in the direction of the constant declaration. The other person hears the very same words and makes a different choice in the privacy of their own mind. They acknowledge the reality without surrendering to it. They refuse to let the diagnosis become their name. They keep speaking life even while they take their medicine, and slowly, against the odds, the body turns toward the voice that refused to give up. I am not telling you that words alone can cure everything. I'm not asking you to abandon wisdom or reject help. I'm telling you something more subtle and more important. The voice you carry is not neutral. It is never neutral. It is always tilting the odds, in one direction or the other every single day. And if it is going to tilt them anyway, why would you let it tilt them toward your defeat? Why would you hand your own mind to the cause of your decline when you could enlist it, instead, in the cause of your repair? There is a kind of person who treats hope as foolishness, who wears their grim realism like a badge of intelligence. Do not be that person. There is nothing intelligent about speaking your own ruin. The truly wise understand that the mind is a force, that the words we speak shape the bodies we live in, and that to speak life over yourself is not naive optimism, but the highest form of self-respect. You are not denying reality when you speak life. You are choosing which reality to feed. I am not telling you to deny what is real. I am telling you to stop agreeing with what is killing you. There is a difference between acknowledging a storm and inviting it to live in your house. You can know your situation honestly and still refuse to let your inner voice rehearse defeat all day long. Let me ask you again, and this time let it cut a little deeper. What is the sentence you say about your body more than any other? What is the phrase that lives on automatic, the one you have repeated so many times you no longer hear it? Find that sentence, because that sentence has been writing your physical life, one quiet repetition at a time. There was a man in the scriptures who lay beside a healing pool for 38 years. 38 years of watching others get well while he stayed exactly where he was. And when Jesus came to him, he did not ask what was wrong. He asked something that sounds almost insulting until you understand it. He asked, "Do you want to be made well?" Why would he ask that of a man who had waited 38 years? Because some part of that man had made peace with the sickness. The waiting had become an identity. The inner voice had stopped expecting anything different. And this is the question being placed in front of you right now. Do you want to be made well? Not do you want the symptoms to vanish? Do you want to release the identity you have built around being unwell? Because the body will not move toward a healing that the inner voice has already refused. This is a harder question than it first appears, and I want you to sit with it honestly, because there is a part of nearly every one of us that has grown comfortable with our wounds. It sounds strange to say, but it is true. The sickness, the struggle, the limitation becomes familiar, and the familiar feels safe even when it is killing us. We build our identity around it. We learn to be the one who suffers, the one who is fragile, the one who cannot. People learn to treat us accordingly. We receive sympathy. We lower the expectations placed upon us. We find a strange shelter inside the very thing that harms us. And so, a part of us, quietly, resists the healing, because healing would mean stepping out of the shelter and into a life where more is asked of us. Do not be ashamed if you recognize this in yourself. Almost everyone carries some version of it. The point is not to judge yourself for it, but to see it clearly. Because what you cannot see, you cannot change. If some part of you has made peace with being unwell, name it. Bring it into the light. And then ask yourself whether you are willing to let it go, whether you want the healing more than you want the shelter. Because the moment your whole self truly wants to be made well, the moment the inner voice stops protecting the sickness and starts calling for life, the body finally receives permission to move. The man by the pool had waited 38 years, and his answer to the question was not even a clear yes. He gave excuses. He explained why he could not, why others always got there first, why his situation was uniquely hopeless. And how often is that our answer too? We do not say yes to healing, we say yes, but it is too late for me. Yes, but my case is different. Yes, but I have tried everything. The excuses are the voice of the part that has made peace with the wound. And the invitation then and now is to set down the excuses, to stop rehearsing the reasons it cannot happen, and to answer the question with your whole heart. Yes. I want to be made well. I am willing to leave the shelter. I am ready to live. Napoleon Hill discovered that desire is the starting point of all achievement, and that a desire backed by faith and definiteness of purpose becomes an obsession that the subconscious cannot ignore. Napoleon said that a burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. Apply that to your body. A lukewarm wish to feel a little better changes nothing. A burning conviction that you were made to be whole, repeated until your subconscious believes it, sets every healing system in your body into motion. So speak to your body now, with me, not as a passive observer of its decline, but as the one in command. Say, I was made to heal. Say, every cell in me knows how to repair, and I give it permission now. Say, I release the years of fear, and I declare peace over this flesh. You do not have to feel it perfectly. You only have to begin, because the first time you speak life over a body you used to curse, something ancient and good wakes up inside you. I want to talk to you now about the nights, because the night is where so much of your healing is won or lost, and almost no one guards it. The last thing you think before you sleep is not a small thing. It is the seed you plant into the most fertile soil you own. As you drift off, the critical, doubting part of your mind goes quiet, and the subconscious lies wide open like a field at dusk. Whatever you plant in that moment grows in the dark while you rest. Most people plant worry. They lie down and replay every fear, every ache, every worst-case scenario, and then they wonder why they wake up heavy. They have been farming anxiety in the richest soil they own night after night for years. But you can change what you plant, and when you change the seed, you change the harvest. There is a psalm that says, I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, O Lord. Make me dwell in safety. Imagine making that the final sentence of your day. Imagine releasing your body into rest with the words, I am safe, I am held, I am healing as you sleep. The subconscious takes that declaration and works it through the night, and you wake not into the same old fear, but into a quiet sense that something is being made new. So here is your ritual, and I want you to actually do it tonight, not just hear it. When you lie down, place your hand on your chest one more time. Take 3 slow breaths, and with each exhale, let a little more of the day leave your body. Then speak softly, out loud, or in your heart. 3 sentences. My body is healing while I sleep. My mind is at peace. I trust the one who made me. Say it slowly. Mean it more each time. And then let yourself drift off while those words go to work in the soil of you. And do not stop at the words alone. As you say them, let your body believe them. When you say my body is healing while I sleep, picture it. See the repair happening in the dark. See the quiet work of restoration moving through you while you rest, like a crew of builders who only work at night, asking nothing of you but the permission to begin. When you say my mind is at peace, feel the peace arrive. Let your jaw unclench, let your forehead smooth. Let the day's 1,000 small worries loosen their grip one finger at a time. And when you say, I trust the one who made me, feel the surrender in it. The relief of finally putting down a weight you were never meant to carry alone. You do not have to hold the universe together tonight. You only have to rest and trust and heal. There is something sacred about the way the night strips us down to our truest selves. In the daylight we perform. We manage our faces. We manage our words. We hold ourselves together for the world to see. But at night in the dark, alone with our own breathing, the performance ends and what remains is simply us, exactly as we are. This is why the night is so dangerous for the fearful mind and so powerful for the healing one. Whatever you carry into that vulnerable place, you carry into the deepest part of yourself. So carry peace, carry gratitude, carry the gentle healing voice you are learning to speak, and let it be the last thing your subconscious hears before the long, quiet work of the night begins. I want you to think of your bed as an altar, not just a place to collapse at the end of an exhausting day. An altar is a place where something is offered and something is received. Each night you offer your body to rest, and in return you can receive restoration, but only if you prepare the altar with the right words. Do not climb into bed scrolling through fear, feeding your mind a final meal of other people's chaos. Climb into bed as though you were entering a holy place, because you are. You are entering the place where your subconscious does its deepest work, and you are the one who decides what it works on while you sleep. Napoleon Hill taught that the subconscious is most receptive in the moments between waking and sleeping, what he called the borderland of the mind. He instructed people to feed their dominant desire into the subconscious in exactly those moments, because that is when the gatekeeper sleeps, and the deeper mind accepts the instruction without resistance. Napoleon understood that what you whisper at the edge of sleep, you become. The ancients knew it as prayer. The mind knew it as autosuggestion. They are describing the same sacred doorway. If you are still here with me, if these words are reaching something real in you, do me a small favor. In the comments, write the time of day it is for you right now. Just the time. Because I want you to remember this moment, the moment you decided to stop sleeping in fear and start sleeping in faith. Mark it. It matters more than you know. Now let us turn toward the words themselves, because not all words carry the same weight. There is a reason the great traditions of the world all built their healing around spoken declaration, around the said word and not merely the thought. When you speak out loud, you hear your own voice, and your body believes the voice it knows best, which is yours. A thought drifts. A spoken word commands. In the very first pages of Scripture, God does not think the world into being. God speaks it. Let there be light, and there was light. The pattern is set from the beginning. Creation responds to the spoken word, and you were made in that image, which means your words carry a creative weight you have never fully used. You have been speaking your world into being your entire life. The tragedy is that most of what you spoke was accidental, careless, born of frustration and fear. Imagine what happens when you begin to speak on purpose. Consider how casually we throw words away. We say I am dying when we are merely tired. We say, my back is killing me. We say, this is going to be the death of me. We laugh as we say these things, never imagining that the subconscious is not laughing, that it takes every word with deadly seriousness, that it files away each careless phrase as an instruction to be carried out. The subconscious has no sense of humor. It cannot tell a joke from a command. It hears my back is killing me and it sets to work, faithfully, on the killing. We are surrounded by people quietly cursing themselves all day long and wondering why their bodies obey. So the discipline begins with the mouth. Before you can change the deep inner voice, you start with the words you let pass your lips, because the lips and the inner voice are connected, each one feeding the other. When you stop speaking death out loud, you starve the inner voice of its fuel. And when you begin deliberately to speak life out loud, you begin to retrain the deep mind by the sound of your own voice. This is why declaration matters so much more than mere thought. A thought is private and easily forgotten. A spoken word is an event. It moves through the air, it vibrates in your own ears, it carries weight your thoughts alone never had. There is power in saying it where you can hear it. Stand in front of a mirror if you can bear it, and speak life to your own face. It will feel strange the first time. It may even bring tears, because so many of us have never once looked ourselves in the eye and spoken kindness. But do it anyway. Look at yourself and say, I bless you, I'm grateful for you, you are healing, and I'm on your side now. The face in the mirror is the face of someone who has been waiting your whole life to hear those words from the only person whose opinion truly shapes their flesh, you. And let me tell you why the mirror matters so much beyond the words themselves. When you look into your own eyes and speak kindness, you collapse the distance between the one who speaks and the one who is spoken to. For most of your life, there has been a kind of split inside you. A critic standing apart from the self it criticizes, judging it as though it were someone else, someone separate, someone deserving of contempt. The mirror ends that split. It forces you to see that the one you have been criticizing all these years is you, the only you there is, the one you will live with until your final breath. And once you truly see that, the cruelty becomes impossible to sustain. You cannot keep waging war on the face that has carried your whole life, once you have looked it in the eye and recognized it as your own. The first few times, you may not be able to hold your own gaze. That alone tells you how long the war has gone on, how deeply the habit of self-contempt has worn into you. Be patient. Come back to the mirror tomorrow and the next day. Each time, hold your gaze a little longer. Each time, let a little more kindness through. There will come a morning when you look into your own eyes and feel, instead of judgment, something you may not have felt toward yourself in years. Affection, compassion, the quiet warmth of a friend looking at a friend. And on that morning you will know that something deep has changed, that the inner voice has truly turned, and that your body, which has been listening the whole time, has heard the change and is already beginning to respond. There is a man who spent years studying water, and he found that water exposed to words of love and gratitude formed beautiful, ordered crystals, while water exposed to words of hatred and contempt formed broken, chaotic shapes. Now consider that your body is mostly water. Consider what your daily words have been forming inside you. I am not asking you to believe a study. I'm asking you to feel the truth underneath it. The truth your own grandmother probably knew, that words have power, that what you say over a thing changes the thing. Napoleon Hill built an entire practice on this. He called it auto-suggestion, the deliberate feeding of chosen words into the mind, until the mind accepts them as fact. Napoleon said that through repeated, emotionalized declaration, you can impress upon your subconscious any picture you choose, and the subconscious will then influence your body and your circumstances to match. He was not describing magic. He was describing discipline. The discipline of refusing to let your mouth rehearse your ruin and choosing instead, again and again, to speak your repair. So let us practice the words with care. When you speak to your body, do not beg it. Command it gently. The way you would guide a child you love. Do not say, please stop hurting, which keeps your attention fixed on the hurt. Say instead, peace flows through this place, calm settles into these muscles, ease returns to this part of me. Speak as though the healing is already underway, because the moment your inner voice assumes healing, your body begins to assume it too. Picture a part of your body that has been troubling you. Do not fight it. Do not curse it. Place your attention there with warmth, as if you were laying a hand on someone you love. And say to that part, I am sorry for the war I have waged against you. I am sorry for every harsh word. From now on, we are on the same side. I speak peace over you, and I trust you to do the work you were designed to do. Something in the body unclenches when it is finally spoken to with tenderness. The fighting stops. And in the absence of fighting, healing finds its room. Let me tell you what I have come to believe about pain, because we treat it as nothing but an enemy, and that view keeps us at war with our own flesh. Pain is often a message, not a curse. It is the body trying to get your attention, and when you respond with hatred, you are screaming at a messenger. But when you respond with curiosity and care, when your inner voice softens and asks, what do you need, instead of, why are you doing this to me, something changes in the conversation. The body is not your opponent. The body is your oldest companion, the one who has carried you through every single day of your life without ever once abandoning you. The scriptures call the body a temple, a dwelling place for the spirit. Not a prison, not a burden, a temple. And you do not curse a temple. You do not stand inside a holy place and scream about how much you hate the walls. You tend it, you honor it, you speak over it, words worthy of the one who designed it. The shift from treating your body as a problem to treating it as a temple is one of the most healing shifts a human being can make, and it costs you nothing but the willingness to change your tongue. Think about how strangely we treat our bodies compared to anything else we value. If you owned a priceless instrument, you would not scream at it, slam it, neglect it, and then expect it to make beautiful music. If you tended a garden, you would not stand over it, cursing the soil and wondering why nothing grows. Yet this is precisely how most people treat the most precious thing they will ever own, the body that houses their entire life. They criticize it relentlessly. They compare it to others and find it lacking. They notice only its failures and never its faithfulness. And then they wonder why it does not flourish under such treatment. Nothing flourishes under contempt. Not a garden, not a child, not a marriage, and not a body. Everything alive responds to how it is spoken to, and your body is gloriously, achingly alive. Consider for a moment all the things your body does for you without ever being thanked. Right now, as you listen, your heart is beating without your effort. Your lungs are drawing breath without your command. Your blood is delivering life to 100 billion cells. Your body is fighting off threats you will never know about, healing micro-injuries you will never notice, balancing systems of staggering complexity, all so that you can sit here and listen to these words. It has done this every second of every day since before you were born, and it will do it until your final breath, asking nothing in return but a little care, a little rest, and perhaps, if it is not too much to ask, a kind word now and then. When was the last time you marveled at your own body instead of criticizing it? When did you last feel awe at the simple fact that you are alive, that this intricate, miraculous machine carries you faithfully through the world? Somewhere along the way, we lost our wonder and replaced it with judgment. We forgot that the body is a miracle and began to treat it as a disappointment. The healing of your flesh may begin with the recovery of that wonder, with learning again to be amazed at the gift you have been criticizing all these years. Here is a question worth carrying with you. What if your body has been waiting your whole life for an apology? What if all the years of repair it has done in silence were done while you criticized it? And what if the simple act of finally thanking it opens a door that medicine alone could never reach? Picture the relationship you have had with your body as if it were a relationship with a person. Imagine someone who showed up for you every single day, who worked tirelessly on your behalf, who never once abandoned you no matter how you treated them, and imagine that in return you criticized them constantly, blamed them for every difficulty, never thanked them, and spoke to them only when something went wrong. How long would any person endure that? And yet your body has endured exactly that, for as long as you have been alive, and it is still here, still working, still loyal. If you treated a friend the way you have treated your body, you would owe them an apology so deep it might take years to repay. Your body is owed that apology, and the beautiful thing is that, unlike a person, the body forgives instantly. The moment you turn toward it with gratitude, the war ends. There is no grudge to overcome, no resentment to work through. There is only a faithful companion, relieved at last to be spoken to with love. So make the apology real. Do not let it stay an idea, speak it. I am sorry. I am sorry for the years I treated you as the enemy. I am sorry for noticing only your failures and never your faithfulness. I am sorry for the harsh words, the constant criticism, the war I waged against the one who has only ever fought for me. From this day forward, things will be different between us. I see you now, I'm grateful for you now, and I am on your side for the rest of our life together. Something shifts in the body when this is finally spoken. A tension that has been held for decades begins to release. The body that was braced against your contempt begins at last to relax into your care. And in that relaxation, that long exhale of being finally accepted, healing finds the opening it has been waiting for. Napoleon Hill wrote that gratitude is one of the most powerful forces a mind can wield, because gratitude shifts the dominant emotion from lack to abundance, and the subconscious builds upon whatever emotion dominates. Napoleon understood that a grateful mind attracts more of what it is grateful for. Apply that to your flesh. A body that is thanked daily, spoken to with appreciation, lives in a different chemistry than a body that is constantly criticized. Gratitude is not a soft sentiment. Gratitude is a physiological event with the power to change your blood. So let me invite you into a deeper practice now, one that you can return to for the rest of your life. It is the practice of the healing visualization, and it works because the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a vivid imagined experience and a real one. This is not my opinion. It is the foundation of how the mind builds reality. When you picture something with enough detail and enough feeling, your body responds as though it is happening. So we are going to use that on purpose. Find your breath first. Slow it down. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. And now, picture a warm light. The color does not matter. Choose whatever feels healing to you. See that light entering at the top of your head, gentle and golden, and watch it move slowly down through your body. As it passes through each part of you, see it dissolving tension, melting old pain, washing through tissue and bone like warm water through cloth. Do not rush it. Let it pool in any place that has been hurting. Let it stay there. Let it do its work. And as that light moves through you, let your inner voice narrate the healing. This light goes where I cannot reach. This light knows exactly what to repair. Every place it touches is being made new. See the cells brightening. See the inflammation cooling. See the body remembering its original design, the design it had before fear ever taught it to break. You are not pretending. You are instructing. You are giving your subconscious a vivid emotional picture of wholeness, and the subconscious takes that picture as a command. Stay with the light a while longer, because most people rush this and miss its power. Bring the light now to the place in your body that needs it most. You know where it is. You have known the whole time. Do not approach it with the old fear. Approach it with the warm light and the gentle voice. Let the light gather there, pooling like sunlight through a window, and as it gathers, speak to that place directly. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. I am bringing healing to you now. Feel the warmth settle in. Feel the tension that has lived there for so long begin to loosen its grip. You may feel a softening, a release, even a wave of emotion, because that place has been carrying your fear for a long time, and it is finally being met with love instead of war. Now, widen the picture. See your whole body filled with this light, glowing from within, every cell illuminated, every system in harmony. And then while you hold that image, see yourself living the life of a healed person. See yourself moving with ease. See yourself waking up rested and grateful. See yourself laughing, breathing deeply, walking freely, doing the things you have longed to do. Do not see it as a distant wish. See it as a present reality, already true, already yours. Feel the joy of it in your chest right now, as though it has already happened. Because to your subconscious, the vivid image and the real event are nearly the same, and the more often you visit this healed version of yourself, the more your body works to make that version real. This practice takes only a few minutes, but it is among the most powerful things you can do for your healing, and you can return to it as often as you like. In the morning, to set the tone of your day. At night, to plant the seed in your sleep. In any hard moment when fear tries to seize the controls, each time you do it, you deepen the groove. Each time you do it, you make the healed image a little more real, a little more believable, a little more inevitable. You are not escaping reality. You are rehearsing the reality you intend to live. This is what Jesus pointed to when he said that, if you believe, you will see the glory of God. Notice the order again. First you believe, then you see. Faith is not the reward for healing. Faith is the soil healing grows in. The visualization is faith made vivid. It is belief you can feel in your body before the proof ever arrives. Napoleon Hill called the imagination the workshop of the mind, the place where every plan a human ever executed was first constructed. Napoleon said that whatever you build in the workshop of your imagination, with persistence and faith, the subconscious will labor to make real in the physical world. He was talking about fortunes and businesses, but the same workshop builds bodies. Whatever picture of yourself you rehearse most vividly, most often, soaked in the most feeling, is the picture your subconscious will work to construct in your flesh. So I have to ask you, what picture have you been rehearsing? When you imagine yourself, do you see someone vibrant, strong, whole? Or do you see someone declining, fragile, defeated? Be honest, because that picture is not neutral. That picture is a set of instructions, and your body has been following it faithfully. The good news, the news that should make you sit up, is that you can change the picture starting now, and your obedient body will turn to follow the new one. If this is reaching you, if you are starting to feel that you have more power over your own healing than anyone ever told you, I want you to do one more thing in the comments. Write the words, "I am the narrator now," because that is the shift. You are no longer the helpless audience of your body's story. You are the one holding the pen. Claim it out loud in writing where you can see it. And now I have to show you something larger, because the title of what we are exploring promised more than the healing of the body. It promised the healing of your life. And here is the truth that ties them together. The truth that almost no one connects. The same voice that has been shaping your body has been shaping your entire life. The same inner narrator that whispered sickness has been whispering limitation into your finances, your relationships, your work, your dreams. The voice does not stop at the skin. It reaches into every corner of your existence, and it has been quietly writing all of it. Think about it. The same person who says my body is weak also says I am not good enough. The same voice that says I always get sick also says I never get the breaks others get, things never work out for me. I am not the kind of person good things happen to. It is one voice. It is one frequency, broadcasting the same low note into every area of your life. And your life, like your body, has been faithfully arranging itself to match. You did not have a bad body and a separate bad life. You had one inner voice, and it shaped both, which means the healing you are learning is far bigger than you realized. When you change the voice that heals your body, you change the voice that heals your life. The same practice that speaks peace into your cells can speak abundance into your circumstances, courage into your decisions, love into your relationships. The instrument is identical. Only the words change. And if your fearful voice was powerful enough to limit your entire life, imagine what your faithful voice will be powerful enough to build. The same scripture that says death and life are in the power of the tongue was never speaking only of physical health. It was speaking of everything. The words you speak shape the whole of your existence. Speak poverty, and you will live small. Speak fear, and you will avoid every door that might have opened. Speak defeat, and you will surrender before the battle begins. But speak life, real life, over every part of your existence, and you will find the whole landscape begin to shift, slowly at first, then unmistakably, until one day you look around at a life you barely recognize and realize you spoke it into being one word at a time. Napoleon Hill built his entire life's work on this single principle, that the words and thoughts a person holds, charged with emotion and repeated with faith, become the blueprint the subconscious uses to construct their entire reality. Napoleon said that the mind attracts the conditions that match its dominant thoughts, that we become what we think about most, that the person who fills their mind with images of poverty and failure will find poverty and failure, while the person who fills their mind with images of abundance and achievement will move inevitably toward them. He spent his life proving that this was not wishful thinking, but a working law, as reliable for the bank account as it is for the body. The voice that heals your flesh is the same voice that builds your fortune. They were never two different powers. They were always one. So as you learn to speak to your body, understand that you are learning a skill that will transform everything. The hand on the chest, the morning declaration, the words of life spoken into the soil of sleep, these are not only practices for the body, they are practices for the life. And the person who masters the inner voice does not heal in one area only. They heal in all of them, because the source was always one voice, and when you change the source, you change everything that flows from it. Let us talk about the people around you, because your inner voice was not built in isolation. It was assembled word by word from the voices you grew up surrounded by. The fears your parents spoke over the dinner table, the diagnoses your family repeated like a curse passed down through generations. My mother had this, her mother had this, so I will have it too. You absorbed those voices before you could defend yourself, and they became the soundtrack of your inner world. But here is what they never told you. Inheritance is not destiny. The scriptures speak of generational patterns, yes, but they also speak of breaking them, of a new covenant, of becoming a new creation where the old has passed away. You are not condemned to repeat the physical story of those who came before you. You can be the one who interrupts the pattern. You can be the one whose inner voice finally says, "It stops with me." I am writing a new sentence for everyone who comes after. And you may need to guard your ears, because the world will keep trying to write the old story over you. People will speak fear into your life with the best intentions. They will tell you what to expect at your age, what to fear, what is normal to lose. You do not have to argue with them. You simply do not have to agree. Let their words pass through you without taking root. Reserve the deep soil of your subconscious for the seeds you choose on purpose. Napoleon Hill warned constantly about the influence of negative environments and negative voices, what he called the negative influences that drain a mind of its power. Napoleon said that you must protect your mind against these influences as carefully as you would protect your body against disease, because the mind is the workshop where your future is built, and a workshop full of fear builds a fearful future. He advised surrounding yourself deliberately with voices that strengthen rather than weaken. Curate your inner circle the way you would curate your medicine, because the words spoken over you, when you allow them in, become the words spoken inside you. Take a moment and consider the voices you let in most often, the conversations, the content, the people who, when you leave them, somehow make you feel smaller, sicker, more afraid. You do not have to cut everyone off, but you do have to decide who gets access to the deep places, who gets to speak into the soil where your future grows. Some voices you keep at arm's length, not from anger, but from wisdom. You are protecting the temple. There is one more voice we must speak about, and it is the hardest one of all because it lives in the past and refuses to stay there. It is the voice of old wounds, of resentment, of the bitterness we carry toward those who hurt us. We rarely connect this to the body, but the connection is real and ancient. The scriptures warned us that a crushed spirit dries up the bones, and few things crush the spirit like unforgiveness held for years. When you carry resentment, you carry it in your body. You hold it in your shoulders, in your gut, in the tightness of your chest. The person who wronged you may be long gone, may not even remember, may be entirely unaware of the prison you have built. But you live in that prison every day, and your body pays the rent. I am not telling you that what happened to you was acceptable. I am not asking you to pretend the wound was not real. I am telling you something for your own healing, something the wise have always known. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to the one who hurt you. It is a gift you give to your own body. It is the act of setting down a weight that was only ever crushing you. When you forgive, you are not saying it did not matter. You are saying it will no longer poison the one life you have to live. You are reclaiming the energy you have been spending on a war that ended long ago. So if there is someone you need to release, release them, not for their sake, but for yours. Speak it, even if only in the quiet of your own heart. I release you. I set down what I have carried. I will not let your harm continue to live in my body. and then turn that same mercy on the person who may need it most, the one you have been hardest on, the one you have judged most cruelly all these years, yourself. Forgive yourself for the choices that brought you here. Forgive yourself for the years you spoke harshly to your own flesh. Forgive yourself for not knowing then what you are learning now. The body cannot fully heal while it lives in a courtroom where you are the constant defendant. Drop the charges. Let yourself out. The healing has been waiting on the other side of that mercy the whole time. There is something I want you to understand about consistency, because this is where most people fall away. You will speak life over your body for 3 days, and then a hard morning will come and the old voice will return, louder than ever, telling you this never worked, telling you that you are foolish to try, and in that moment you will be tempted to quit. Do not quit. That returning voice is not the truth. It is simply the old pattern fighting to survive, the way any deep habit fights when you try to replace it. Understand the nature of what you are doing. You are not flipping a switch. You are carving a new riverbed. For years, perhaps for your whole life, your thoughts have flowed down the same channel, the channel of fear, of criticism, of expectation, of decline. That channel is deep and worn smooth, and water naturally runs where it has always run. When you begin to speak life, you are digging a new channel beside the old one, and at first the new one is shallow, and the water keeps slipping back into the old familiar groove. This is not failure. This is exactly how it feels to build something new. Every time you choose the life-giving word over the old fearful one, you deepen the new channel a little more, until one day, almost without noticing, you find that the water flows there on its own, that your default voice has become a kind one, that healing has become your habit instead of fear. The hard mornings are not a sign that it is not working. The hard mornings are the test that proves it is. Anyone can speak life when they feel wonderful. The transformation happens when you speak life on the morning you feel terrible, when the old voice is screaming and you choose anyway to whisper something kind. That is the moment that counts double. That is the moment the new riverbed gets carved the deepest. So do not run from the hard mornings. Meet them as opportunities. Each one is a chance to prove to your subconscious that the new voice is here to stay, that it does not vanish at the first sign of difficulty, that this time, finally, the healing voice is the one in charge. If you have ever quit on yourself before, if you have started something good and abandoned it when it got hard, I want you to leave a different kind of comment now. Write the words, "not this time," because this is the practice you do not abandon. This is the one you carry to the end. Write it where you can see it, and let it be a promise you made to your own body on the day you decided to stop giving up on it. The scriptures say that we reap if we do not give up, that the harvest comes to those who do not grow weary in doing good. The harvest is rarely instant. A farmer who plants a seed and digs it up the next day to check on it will never eat. The seed needs darkness and time. Your new inner voice needs the same. You plant it tonight, and you plant it again tomorrow and again the day after, even when you feel nothing because the growth is happening underground where you cannot see it. Napoleon Hill found that persistence was the one quality that separated those who achieved their desires from those who collapsed at the first sign of defeat. Napoleon said that persistence is to the character of a person what carbon is to steel, the element that makes it unbreakable. He observed that most people quit at the exact moment when one more step would have carried them through. Apply that to your healing. The temptation to abandon your new inner voice will be strongest right before it takes root. Push through that moment, and you cross into a territory most people never reach. Let me ask you the question I left open at the beginning, the one I told you we would return to. When was the last time you spoke to your body with kindness instead of war? By now I hope the answer is different than it was when we started. I hope the answer is just now with my hand on my chest. I hope the answer is tonight, before I sleep. Because the distance between a body at war with itself and a body at peace with itself is often the distance of a single changed voice. Now I want to give you the words themselves, the declarations you can carry out of this video and into the rest of your life. These are not magic phrases. They are seeds. Their power comes from repetition and feeling, from saying them until your subconscious stops resisting and starts agreeing. Say them in the morning before the world gets to you. Say them at night before you sleep. Say them in the hard moments when the old voice tries to return. Say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and my body knows how to heal. Say, I speak peace over every cell, every organ, every system within me. Say, I release the fear I have carried, and I welcome rest into this flesh. Say, my body is a temple, and I will speak over it only words of life. Say, I trust the wisdom that formed me, and I give it room to work. Say, every day, in ways seen and unseen, I am being made whole. Do not rush through them. Each one is a brick, and you are rebuilding the house your spirit lives in. The first time you say them, they may feel hollow, like a language you do not speak yet. Say them anyway. By the 100th time, they will feel like your own. By the 1000th time, they will feel like the truth, and your body will have been quietly reorganizing itself around them the entire time. And let me give you a way to begin each morning, because the morning sets the frequency for everything that follows. Before you reach for your phone, before you let the world pour its noise into you, take the first moments of the day for yourself. While you are still in bed, while your mind is still soft from sleep and the subconscious is still open, place your hand once more on your chest and greet your own body like a friend you are glad to see. Good morning. Thank you for carrying me through the night. Today we heal together. Take a few slow breaths and speak the declarations into the quiet before the day has had a chance to write its own story over you. You are claiming the first word. You are setting the tone. You are telling your body before anything else what kind of day this will be from the inside out. This single practice, repeated each morning, will change you over time more than you can imagine. Because the first thoughts of the day have a way of coloring all the thoughts that follow. Begin in fear and you will find fear everywhere you look. Begin in gratitude and faith, and you will move through the day on a different frequency entirely, noticing different things, responding to difficulty with more peace, carrying a body that has been told from the very first moment that it is safe and loved and healing. The morning is yours. Claim it. Speak life into it before the world can speak anything else. And throughout the day, when you catch the old voice creeping back, do not panic and do not scold yourself. Simply notice and gently correct. You're not aiming for a mind that never has a fearful thought. You're aiming for a mind that no longer believes the fearful thought is the final word. When the old voice says you are getting worse, you simply answer, "No, I am healing every day in ways I cannot always see." When it says it is too late for you, you answer, "It is never too late for the body to turn toward life." You do not have to win every battle. You only have to keep showing up again and again with the gentle, persistent voice that refuses to give up on the temple you live in. There is a profound peace available to you on the other side of this practice, a peace that does not depend on your circumstances being perfect. It is the peace of someone who has stopped fighting their own body, stopped cursing their own flesh, stopped sleeping in fear. It is the peace the scriptures promise, the peace that surpasses understanding, the peace that guards the heart and mind. And from that peace, real healing flows, because a body at peace is a body free to repair. I want you to imagine for a moment the version of you who has lived this way for a year. Picture waking up each morning and greeting your body with gratitude. Picture moving through your days with a gentle voice that encourages instead of accuses. Picture lying down each night and planting peace into your sleep. Picture a full year of this, 365 days of speaking life over yourself instead of death. What would change? What would soften in your body that has been clenched for years? What would heal that has been held open by the old voice? Who would you become if the cruel narrator finally fell silent and a kind one took its place? That version of you is not a fantasy. That version of you is a series of choices, made one day at a time, starting today. You do not have to become them all at once. You only have to take the first step tonight and the next one tomorrow, and trust that the accumulation of small, faithful choices builds over time into a transformation that would have seemed impossible at the start. The journey of 1,000 days begins with the words, "You speak before you sleep tonight." And here is what I most want you to carry away. You are not too far gone, it is not too late. It does not matter how many years you spent speaking the old way, how deep the old riverbed runs, how loud the cruel voice has become. The body responds to a changed voice at any age, in any condition. no matter how long the war has raged. The very fact that you are still breathing means the capacity for healing is still alive in you, still waiting, still loyal. Your body never gave up on you, not for a single day of your life. The least you can do, the most powerful thing you can do, is to finally stop giving up on it. I want you to understand that this is not about pretending everything is fine when it is not. It is not about denying real pain or refusing real help. Honor your healers. Take what wisdom medicine offers, but know this: no treatment in the world can fully reach a person who is at war with themselves on the inside. Your inner voice is either working with your healing or against it, every single hour. And now you know how to choose. You hold a power that was always yours, hidden in plain sight, waiting in the simple act of how you speak to yourself. The woman in the crowd whispered healing to herself until it became more real than her disease. The man by the pool had to decide whether he truly wanted to be well. The God of the scriptures spoke a world into being and then made you in that creative image. And the great students of the mind discovered that the subconscious will build whatever you feed it with conviction. All of it points to one truth, the truth I want you to carry forever. You are not the helpless witness of your body's decline. You are the voice it has been listening to all along. So change the voice and watch what changes in the flesh. Speak life, and life will rise to meet it. Speak peace, and peace will settle into the deepest places. Speak healing, not once, not for a week, but as a way of being, and your body will hear you and your body will answer. The way it has always answered. The way it was designed from the very beginning to answer the one whose voice it trusts most, your own. And do not keep this for your body alone. Take it into every room of your life. Speak life over your work, over your relationships, over your dreams that you long ago stopped speaking about. The same voice that heals the flesh heals the whole of a life, because it was always one voice shaping all of it. The person who learns to speak kindness inward does not heal in one place only. They become a different person entirely, one whose inner world has finally turned from war to peace, and from that inner peace everything outward begins to change. Your body first, perhaps, because it is closest, but then your days, then your choices, then slowly, the whole shape of the life you are living. This is the power that was always yours, hidden in the simplest act of all, the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. Remember the woman in the crowd who whispered healing until it became more real than her disease. Remember the man by the pool who finally had to decide whether he truly wanted to be well. Remember that the one who made you spoke a world into being and then formed you in that same creative image, with a voice that carries the power of life and death. And remember the great truth uncovered by those who studied the mind, that the subconscious builds faithfully whatever you feed it with conviction. It all points to one place, to you, to the voice you carry, to the words you are about to choose for the rest of your life. If this video reached something real in you, if it gave you back a power you forgot you had, then let it serve its purpose. Speak to your body tonight the way I showed you. Place your hand on your chest. Plant the new seed in the soil of your sleep. And if you believe these words can change a life, leave a comment with the single phrase, "I speak life over my body." Let it be your declaration, sealed in writing, sent out into the world. Like this video so it can reach someone else who is at war with themselves and does not yet know there is another way. Subscribe, so that every time you return here, you are reminded of who you really are, a being made in the image of the one who heals, carrying within you a voice with the power of life and death. And then go and speak life, because your body is listening, and it always has been, and it is waiting, even now, to hear something kind from you.